Hi everyone, welcome back. Today's subject is about international investors, why Florida real estate is so popular, and how you invest in Florida real estate as a foreign buyer. So if you're someone living abroad, Mexico, Colombia, Canada, wherever, and you're thinking about buying property in the US, in the United States, looking to generate income, that means to produce money regularly, or to preserve your wealth, to preserve your accumulated money and assets, maybe secure a store of value. That's just something that keeps worth over time. Why Florida? Well, for decades, Florida has stood out as one of the most appealing, in other words, very attractive, which in this context means interesting, desirable. It's one of the most appealing markets in the US for foreign national investors. Florida obviously has warm weather and beaches, but there are deeper reasons behind this global interest. The state's tax incentives. These are the ways to reduce tax payments, tax incentives. These make it a stable financial environment. That means it doesn't change violently, fluctuate. It's predictable. International investors look to invest in Florida. They search for investment opportunities in Florida because Florida doesn't have a personal income tax, which obviously means investors keep more of their cash flow, money coming in and out, especially from rentals. Also, Florida cities like Miami, Orlando, and Tampa, they usually have strong rental demand. People are either moving in for jobs or vacationing, which tends to keep properties rented out and maintaining positive cash flow. That's money coming in regularly after expenses, positive cash flow, generating positive cash flow. So a quick reminder, cash flow is the money coming in and out of an investment. Positive cash flow means a rental property brings in more money than it costs to own. Portfolio is a collection of investments. Assets are just the things you own that have value, like houses or condos. So these terms help us understand why real estate attracts global capital, global money. So who's investing and why? Investors from Latin America, Canada, and Israel are especially active in Florida's real estate market. They're attracted, they are drawn in, not just by weather or beaches, but by economic fundamentals. Predictable rental income, maybe cultural ties, but overall a strong demand for housing. In many countries, inflation can devalue savings, can erode savings. Inflation refers to rising prices that reduces the value of money. So foreign investors see Florida real estate as a way to preserve wealth, to protect the value of money and assets over time, to preserve wealth. And Florida real estate is a hedge against currency fluctuation. It's protection against frequent rises and falls in currency value. Some buyers buy a rental property and they earn enough rent to cover the mortgage, to pay for the mortgage. That's called positive cash flow. Others buy property as a long-term store of value, something that keeps worth value over time. So here's an important part. Even if you want to invest, it can be tricky to take capital out of your home country, take money to another market, to move capital out of your home country, and close on a property in the US. To close on a property just means to complete the purchase. Traditionally, US mortgages require US credit history, proof of income locally, and sometimes even a visa. But there's something called DSCR loans. DSCR stands for Debt Service Coverage Ratio. A DSCR loan is based not on your personal finances, but on the property's ability to generate income. If the rental income pays the mortgage and expenses, we say covers the mortgage and expenses, meaning it produces positive cash flow, then you might qualify for a DSCR loan. In other words, these loans look at whether the property itself can pay for itself through rental income. This is obviously a more flexible and accessible way for foreign investors to enter the US market. Some companies help foreign buyers put together everything needed to buy in Florida. Put together means to organize, to compile, to collect everything. This includes maybe helping set up an LLC. That's just a business structure that makes it easier to own and finance property in the US. These companies assist with remote closings, so you don't have to fly to the US to complete the paperwork. They support currency exchange and banking setup to streamline the investment process. To streamline is to make something smoother and more efficient. And this approach lets investors from other countries dive into US real estate, begin investing in US real estate without dealing with all the bureaucracy alone, all the red tape, we say. The companies are there to remove the obstacles so that your money can work for you, even if you're thousands of miles away. Investing in Florida real estate, isn't only about owning a sunny beach house. It's about finding attractive investment opportunities, diversifying, that means spreading money across investments, diversifying your portfolio, and building income streams in a market that many consider stable and resilient. For many global investors, Florida is more than just a location. It's considered a financial safe harbor, which is a place of protection and security. So some of the key vocabulary we used, attractive in this context. In the property market, this means appealing or interesting or desirable. Florida real estate is attractive to foreign buyers because of strong rental demand. For example, stable means predictable, not changing violently. Investors prefer stable markets with predictable cash flow, for example. Fluctuations are frequent rises and falls. Currency fluctuations can affect returns for international buyers. Inflation, you'll hear this a lot. These are just rising prices that reduce the value of money. As an example, high inflation makes investors look abroad, look overseas, to preserve wealth. The word capital is just another word for financial resources. Investors often move capital out of unstable economies to Miami. Wealth is accumulated money and assets. Property helps preserve wealth over time. You heard me talk about a store of value. That's just something that keeps its value, that keeps worth over time. As an example, real estate is often seen as a store of value when currencies weaken. Cash flow, that's money coming in and going out. Positive cash flow from rent makes properties easier to finance. So if the cash flow from your property, the rental income from your property, is more than the mortgage payment, we call this positive cash flow. A portfolio is just a collection of investments. Diversifying a portfolio, varying a portfolio, reduces risk. And when we talk about assets, we just mean things of value that you own. Houses, apartments, condos are valuable assets in an investment portfolio. We had a few phrasal verbs. To look to invest. This is to search for investment opportunities. Many investors look to invest in Florida because of tax benefits. To move capital out. This is to take money to another market. As an example, some investors move capital out of their home countries into US assets. When we say put together, we mean organize or compile, collect if you like. Some of these companies, these service companies, they help investors put together all the required documentation. To dive into is to begin enthusiastically. To give you an example, you could say foreign buyers dive into US real estate with support from the right specialists. A couple of idioms or sayings around this subject. If you hear anyone talk about a safe harbor, this is a place of protection. Florida is seen as a safe harbor for foreign capital, for foreign money. And you'll often hear people say, don't put all your eggs in one basket. That means don't risk everything in one place. Smart international investors diversify. They don't put all their eggs in one basket. And that's everything for today. Thank you for listening. This is Listen. Don't forget to share and subscribe, please. And I'll see you in the next episode. Until then, bye-bye for now.